What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the land of Reckless Logicc. Please make sure you guys pop that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please smack the notification bell so do not miss any more posts from me. Let's get straight into this video. Alrighty, guys, you guys already know why we're here. We are here because we're going to talk about Miss Milagro Gramz, aka Miss Checkerboard Dress herself, because she is currently being dog walked within the judicial system by Megan Thee Stallion and Alex Spiro. So let's get straight into it. So Megan Thee Stallion is literally suing the lace front off of Mammy Radio. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm here for it. So sometime back, there was a motion that was filed by Alex Spiro. I do want to say it was either for defamation or harassment, something along them lines. I'm going to be honest. Initially, my thought process was this initial motion was very weak, only because defamation cases are very hard to prove when you are a celebrity and or public figure, because you have to prove things like malicious intent and some other key factors that you do have to go through. And it's much harder to do that when you are a public figure. But the gag is that what we didn't know is that the initial motion was not used as a way to solidify their position in the case. The initial motion was used as a strategic tactic to gaslight Mammy Radio to get to yapping on social media. That was the goal. And the gag is that that's exactly what she did. And essentially, Alex Spiro gave it a shovel and she started digging a hole for herself. And now we're here. As time progressed, that initial motion got amended. Now I'm gonna tell y'all this. That initial motion was weak. It was weak sauce. That's essentially what it was. But that amended motion was not to be effed around with. That amended motion had substance, and now that motion really solidified their posture within the case. But the gag is that even though that amended motion was not to be played around with, Miss Checkerboard Dress, she still wanted all the smoke. She still wanted those problems. She still wanted to see Alex Spiro and the queen of Hot Girl Summer in the courtroom, Miss Teflon Don. But now we fast forward to present day, she's boohoo crying because she feels as if Tory Lanez, DJ Academics, and Jason Lee left her for dead in my Jocelyn, no, but girl, my Jocelyn Hernandez voice, in my Mommy D voice. And as a result, she's trying to sweep her social media of any evidence because she does not want to get slam dunked in the federal or state penitentiary. Here's what I got to say. What I noticed about this case is that it was very strategic for Megan Thee Stallion and Alex Spiro to file their lawsuit in the state of Florida, because the state of Florida has much more cruel or severe consequences for cyber stalking. That is a key indicator that they're not coming to play around with mob radio. They're going to sue the Temu dresses. They're going to sue the cheap makeup. They're going to sue the Ozempic off of Mammy Radio. And I am here for every step of it, because this is another example of when you F around and find out. This is another example of what lawyers mean when they say and they advise you to stop talking, because you never know who's watching your page. Because the courts, it's not about who's always telling the truth. It's about who has the better lawyer and which lawyer is more witty legally. So that initial motion was not used to solidify this position within the case. It was used as a way for Mammy Radio to dig a hole for herself and get to running her mouth and completely contradicted everything she said. And it's also used for people who aren't legally savvy. Because if a lawyer attorney is putting a lawsuit or filing a lawsuit against you, they already have the evidence. So you going back to try to clean your social media of everything that you've done and or said doesn't make any sense. And you really did dig a hole for yourself. Another thing I thought was very interesting is that initially Miss Checkerboard was talking all that big ish. She wanted all the smoke when it came down to Megan Thee Stallion. She had all of this big D energy, and she was allowing her ding-a-ling to hang to her ankles because she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a countersuit. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Rock Nation's not gonna take me down." And all she was all of that. She was doing all of that. But now you're crying wolf, and you're being delusional enough, because I also seen a video of her talking about the situation, how she feels about the current state of the case and all of that, you know. Girl, all of that. She was delusional enough to believe that Megan Thee Stallion should have came to her, but in all actuality, I guess she's also forgetting the part that you included yourself in a situation that had nothing to do with you, because if you just would have stayed within the realm of vlogging and or blogging and or reporting or journalism or whatever the hell you want to, whatever word you want to put there, all you had to do was report on what was being reported and tried your best not to be non-biased. You decided to have proximity to Tory Lanez. You decided to get involved with his bald-headed pappy and Tory Lanez. You decided to put out misinformation surrounding the case. You decided to attack this woman even after the verdict. You did that. So Megan Thee Stallion, who's the victim of your actions, should have came to you. And let's also remember, Megan Thee Stallion also put out I forgot, was it a tweet, but she put out a post on social media explaining that she's really being hurt by the claims, the opinions, the misinformation being put out even after the verdict or during the case. I want to say this happened after the verdict. And Mammy Radio responded directly to that tweet. I want to say it was a tweet. Directly responded to that tweet and told Megan Thee Stallion, keep in mind, Megan Thee Stallion's message was very general. She responded and said, either you can get over it or go away. And this is another tally for shut your mouth. Because as Megan Thee Stallion and Alex Spiro were building their case, you were falling for all the booby traps. As the documentary was getting released, you was on your BS. As Megan Thee Stallion was putting out certain tweets, you was catching the bait and falling for it. Girl, bye. And then you believe that Megan Thee Stallion should have came to you when there was a situation that you involved yourself in and had your cape on for a group of naggers that didn't deserve it? I don't think so. I don't think that that's how that works. And then it's also the fact that if you actually take a look at her videos, she talks out of both sides of her neck. On one end, she wants to stand in it, and it is what it is, and what God has for me is just going to happen, and whatever the verdict is going to be is going to be. But then on the flip side, you trying to settle behind the scenes, but then on the front end, you trying to have still trying to have big D energy. And the gag is that you are also being represented by the same team that lost to Megan the first time when it came down to Tory Lanez and his bald-headed pappy. They lost the first time. If they lost the first time when it came to Tory Lanez, I don't want them representing me. Why would you think that would be a smart idea? It's because you are delusional. That is what it really comes down to. You're delusional. Let's get into this idea that she feels that she was left for dead. things first. Let's just consider the source. Let's get into Mr. Tory Lanez and his bald-headed pappy. You're talking about a person, Tory Lanez, that ooted Megan. You're referring to a person that attacked and beat up Kelsey. You're referring to a person that pretends that he cares about black women, and he tried to orchestrate a situation surrounding colorism and him protecting and standing up for a dark-skinned woman just to be called out. You have to look at the patterns, and what does Tory Lanez's pattern surrounding black women tell? What his pattern tells, it tells that he only uses black women when it's convenient for him. And then once he's done using said black woman, he discards them. So this idea of feeling why you feel betrayed and you really believed that you weren't going to be next when his track record shows you he's going to discard of you once he has no use for you. Now let's get into and consider the source in terms of DJ Academics. We are referring to an incel that is always being accused of not keeping his hands, his feet, and his dingling to himself, allegedly. And we're also going to consider the source in terms of Jason Lee, who is the CEO of Hollywood Unlocked. Everyone in the industry knows, and I'm going to say even outside the industry, when it comes to people like Jason Lee, who are journalists, bloggers, whatever the hell, whatever word you want to put there, people like Wendy Williams, they have a job to do, and they're going to do their job. And they're going to be, at times, two other celebrities who are on the receiving end of said stories is going to come off as two-faced. This is not Jason Lee's first rodeo. And even though I said all of that about all three of these motherfuckers right here, let's be clear. They don't have to come to your aid, because every single last one of them currently today does not, well, girl, Tory got a little something going on with her, but currently do not have a lawsuit pending in terms of defamation and cyber stalking. Girl, that's you. You're the one with the case. You're the one included yourself in a situation that had nothing to do with you. You're the one being held accountable because you decided to make personal attacks against Megan Thee Stallion. You're the one always trying to attach yourself to this case. You're the one that was receiving Zelle payments from Tory Lanez through his bald-headed pappy. You're the one that had proximity to Tory Lanez. That's the reason why you're being sued and no one else is being sued, girl. You're the reason. This is an example of the MK Ultra of mamification, where you have mob radio continuously having her cape on for a group of ain't-ish ass naggas who have destroyed the community, attempted to destroy the community, causing people harm, and then when payday comes and now it's time for them to be held accountable for the BS that they have been girl, I couldn't swallow for a second. For the BS that they've been doing, you always want to have your cape on and get to blocking and trying to protect them. Girl, and then you wonder why you getting wrapped up in the BS with them. Maybe if you stayed out the way and was objective about what was going on, you would be in the clear. But this goes to what Nene Leakes said. You can never win when you play dirty. Whatever happens in the dark will come to the light. And you also want to give a subtle dig to Tory Lanez. Talk about something. When I would never come to the aid of a black man the same way I did. Girl, you never should did that from the beginning. You never should have been a mammy from the beginning. You never should have been defending a group of motherfuckers and always ended up on the wrong side of history. That's your fault. You're the one that did that. You're the one that always seem to come to the aid of a group of motherfuckers that don't deserve it. And actually, it's been proven in court that they don't deserve it. But in your delusional, fried brain, you always want to make excuses for the unexcusable. The moral of the story, especially if this trial, which it looks like it's probably going to be the case, goes to trial, and more than likely, she's probably going to be slam dunked in the state and or federal penitentiary. Stop trying to cash a check when you have insufficient funds. Stop trying to cash a check or write a check when you have insufficient funds. You give a person an inch, they take a mile. But the gag is, the federal and state government, they want their 40 acres and a mule. So you can take an inch and you can take a mile. But baby, they're going to want that times 2 or times 40. So girl, get it together. Y'all let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to talk to you guys later. Deuces.